Hello and welcome back to Just Code It. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into Streamlit containers and look at some more advanced layout patterns. To start, let's just go through the finished layouts that we're going to be doing throughout these examples. The first one doesn't really show you much unless you look at the code, so let's just go to number 2. This one allows you to change the panel height and the logs, also puts the two settings side by side and then dynamically sets this. Next up is a metric dashboard. This puts the metrics across the top and then also splits up this lower section into a graph section and then recent events, essentially splitting it up into columns. Next up, we have toolbars where we can set the alignment, left, center, right, distributed. And then another type of toolbar where we have like a header with the app name and login, sign up, and then the footer down here with the content in the middle. Finally, we have this alignment creator where we can either vertically align center, top, bottom, add different amounts of gaps, then change the size of the text spacing. Then over here, we have some other metrics, but as you can see, we have it within a container, within a container, within a container to create each metric centered within this far right container. That is it though. Let's jump into the actual code and get working. To start out, we're going to create a couple imports. The first one is just create a Streamlit config. Give it a page title and then define a wide layout. Then we're going to add the title right up here. And the tabs we're going to define right here, where we're going to do Streamlit tabs and give it a list of the tabs. Coming down here, the first tab is how we do out of order ordering. How you do this is first we're going to find some containers. So here we have the header, the body, and the footer. Then throughout the code, it doesn't matter where you define it. As long as you do footer.caption, then that will always end up in the footer. Or body.write will then go back to the body and write this. And header is typically not below the body, but here we can define that by doing header.write. And adding the header right here. Then we're going to come down here and create that chart using the body.line chart. And then finally another header caption with the header caption. This allows you to dynamically add things to different parts of the app as different information loads. Let's say if you had up at the top, you had a value that doesn't load unless you do a execute or click a button. This allows you to add that value or update that value dynamically at the top of the page. Above it appears above it, and everything below it appears below it. It allows you to reorder the order of the content. Tab 2 shows this live log panel, which allows you to define the height and the number of logs and allows you to scroll through the logs. At the beginning of the tab, we're going to create 2 sliders. The first one is going to be panel height and then log entries. How we do this is we create a container and just define the height as H and then give it a border that makes this container have a height of that. And if we wanted to do some gap small, we can add some gap small between each element, or gap none will add no gaps between all of it so you can fit more on a page. That's probably better. Then to simulate the logs, we're just going to iterate over these random logs and just select a random icon and print it to the screen. For the third tab, or the metric tab, to start out, we're going to create this row set equal to a Streamlit container and have a horizontal container. If we change this to false, it will turn to a vertical container. So let's put that back to true, make it horizontal. We're also going to add a horizontal alignment to center, but you can change this to things like distributed, which kind of distributes them evenly across. I kind of like that way. Next, we have this for loop where we're going to loop over each one of these metrics and just add them using with row. Then we're going to do another container. If you can see right here, actually, let's add another border set to true. So we can actually see the first container. So here you can see the first container, and then we iterate through the other container, and we're going to add another container with a width of 190 and a border, which creates each one of these metrics within the other container. And we're just going to add that metric. And then we're going to add a divider. After the divider, we're going to create a st columns and create these two columns. The first one is this left one where we're going to create a container and we're going to stretch it. What this stretch does is it fills the full column width, or essentially fills the width of the container instead of just using the width of the content. And then we're going to write this trend here and then have this area plot with just some random information and a height of 300. Within the right one, we're going to just have the width set to the content, and the border is going to be true. Within that, we're going to have another container. Within the recent events container, we're going to nestle another container with a height of 160. And we're going to create a for loop and just do event and then add the index to create these events within there. And if we wanted to maybe make that a bit smaller, we could do gaps to that, which basically scrunches up those events to make more fit within that area. And if we wanted to create a larger event area, we can do it that way as well. The fourth tab is a toolbar pattern. This one actually is pretty useful if you, I don't know where I am, pretty useful if you actually want to create some dynamic toolbars, because Streamlit kind of has just those default. If you want to make some custom ones, this is how you can do it. The first toolbar we have is this selection slider. That's this right up here. We're going to have it start as center to begin. After creating the slider, we're then going to create a Streamlit container. We're going to have horizontal set to true, border, and then up here we have the horizontal alignment that is set to the alignment right here. So when we select center, it will set everything within here to the center alignment, and then gaps are set to medium. We could set this to large as well to really spread it out, medium or small if you want to crunch them down. Let's just keep it at medium. Then we have these buttons. We have the back refresh selection box, which just has a few things that you can select. Settings, oh, for some reason that changed. And then we have the settings button and the forwards button. Using that, you can change the alignment. I kind of like the distributed or the center. Moving down a bit more, this is kind of a page layout. So you can have your icon or your logo up here, then log in, sign up. Have your content in the middle where that divider is, and this could be a footer. Let's see how that looks. So we have the top container, which has the My App, login, sign up, and we're going to do key. Let's actually do border to true so you can actually see this. Here you can see now the header, and we have the top button and the top button for sign up. Then we add that divider. Next, we have the secondary nav row, which is the bottom nav row down here. Let's add another border around that. Border to true. And within that border, we're going to loop over each one of these pages and add the button, which does that. And let's make those pages type primary. So that will create primary buttons. Honestly, it would probably look a bit better if we created those primaries for up here. Let's create that one as a primary instead of the other one. So now we have the sign up login. This is kind of a footer with some more navigations or some tabs. Then your logo. Next, we have this alignment playground where we can change some things and actually see the layout change. To start out, we're going to create this control bar, which is ST container. We're going to do a horizontal container with small gaps and a border. Then we're going to add all of our settings in there using the vertical alignment gap and text area height. After creating the settings panel, we're then going to come down here and create another container. The container is going to be another horizontal across. Vertical alignment is going to be this V alignment from this setting right here. Then the gap is going to be either none, small, medium, large. The reason we have to do it this way is because when we select here, that gap is coming down as a none. Let's see if we can actually change that though. It looks like you actually still need that even if you set one of the variables within there to none. But what happens is when it equals none, we then set it to none because this gap does not take in none as a string. It takes it in as the default Python none value. Finally, we add the border around it, which is this big border right here. After we create that container, we add the first button. Let's make this small. The first button, we have the text area height is from the setting up here. The placeholder, the key. After the key, we have label visibility to collapse, just hides the labels. Finally, we have the next button, which is a primary type. After we create that first container, we're going to nestle another container within it. The difference here is we're actually not going to do a horizontal alignment. We're going to do a vertical alignment, so have them go straight down. We're going to define a width to give it a bit of space. This is the container for the outside, and the gaps are going to be small. That is the gaps between these inner containers. Once we create that inner container, we're then going to iterate over each one of these metrics. So we have a list of metrics, and for each one of those lists of metrics, we're going to create another container, create the border. Now that is the box right there. So if we remove this to false, you'll see those go away, but I think it honestly looks better when you actually have them. Then the horizontal is true. That is what's making us go this way. Oh, horizontal is true does not make a difference here because it's too short. It actually should be horizontal to false, or just don't even add it. Let's set that horizontal to false because we want this to go straight up and down. And then the horizontal alignment is going to be center, or if we change this to right, it would shift them all to the right, but we want them centered within each individual container. So here we're making 3 containers for each one of these values. Within that, we're just going to add the metric. That is it though for this advanced container layouts with Streamlit. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. See you next time.